Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Um, it is Tuesday, April the 13th, 2021. So, good morning to all of you today. So, y'all know what I say. Come on in the room, people. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. So, it's so great to see you this morning. Um, It's so good to see you this morning on this Tuesday morning. And I have a bone to pick with some of y'all. Hi, Diane Ladybug. You're back, are you? Good morning, Yvonne and Hester and Gracie and Jeffrey Allen James and Patricia. Good morning to all of you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Lori and Pastor Alex and let's see, Adrian. Good morning, John Gore. Good morning, Marion and Mary and Hazel. Good morning, people. Come on in the room. Now, y'all, good morning, Regina. Why y'all let me say that yesterday was April the 11th when it was the 12th? Good morning, Demia. Good morning, girl. Good morning, Lee. Good morning, Jacqueline. Good morning, Kenny Stanley. Good morning, Cherie. Good morning. Y'all had me say that it was April the 11th, and none of y'all corrected me. Good morning, Shirley. Good morning to all of you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is That's Happening Tuesday. It is That's Happening Tuesday. Good morning, Kimberly. Good morning, Louis Pryor the Third. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Good morning, Latrice. Good morning. Good morning, girl. How are you? Y'all listen. Good morning, Donita. Good morning. I just want to say this. Good morning, Deborah Sneed. I guess I'll just wait and just keep saying good morning. Good morning, Deborah Thomas. Good morning. Good morning, Julie. Good morning. And good morning again to everyone who's on the YouTube Live. We are really experiencing some technical difficulties with YouTube Live. We're seeing the chats later, but we're trying to figure out how to pull them in. So please just continue to bear with us. But in saying that, I want to say good morning to Robert, who's watching. I want to say good morning to Justina, who's watching from YouTube Live. I want to say good morning to Kimberly, who's watching YouTube Live. And I'm missing, Renee, who's watching YouTube Live. So I want to say good morning to y'all. Good morning, Hester and Pastor Annette. Good morning. But yeah, y'all played me yesterday. Y'all had me saying it was April the 11th and it was April the 12th. It was April the 12th. But good morning to all of you. Again, I want to thank my team. I have a great team. So before we even get started, I just want to thank the team and let all of you know that you are doing an amazing job. I was sharing with John Gore. I know John Gore is watching. I was sharing with John Gore last week. I said, as they continue to grow and go into what it is that they're doing all in the PR or publicist field or marketing field, I keep saying, I know one day I'm going to lose y'all because there's so much more out there for you. And right now, I'm glad you're sticking with me. But if ever you all pass on, not pass on in death, but pass on to other things which are greater, because I know a couple of you have some celebrities talking to you, and I'm so excited about that. I'm just know this, y'all need to make sure y'all replace yourselves before you move on. But y'all, that's called growth, and a lot of you are being recognized from the work that you're doing here on News in Motion. So I'm telling the entire family on you all. See, what happened, what had happened was, if we can say it that way, the moment we went live with this platform, people recognized y'all's skill and people recognized how y'all grew this. So now people are knocking on y'all's doors. I can't be having that. But no, I'm glad that I'm putting you all out there. I'm glad that you all are working alongside of me. There's only one of you who can't ever go anywhere. That's my own child. Girl, you here with me forever. But no, seriously, I want to thank the team because we have been continuously doing what we're doing. And I'm glad that I listened to you all because you all are rocking it out. You all are rocking it out. I see all of y'all saying I look amazing. Do I? Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just excited, y'all. I don't think y'all understand. I'm just excited about what God is doing. And okay, so here we go. We're just going to That's Happening a different direction. I'm so excited. This morning I was on Elder Pugh's prayer line, and y'all have heard me talk about her before. And that prayer went to a place that I think everyone who was tuning in this morning needed it to go. God was speaking, God was moving, God was answering prayer, lives are being changed. And you could honestly feel the power of God's anointing during that prayer time. You could honestly feel it. There was a shift that took place in my office studio. There was a shift that took place in my home. There was a shift. And so maybe that's what you're seeing. You're seeing the residue left of the anointing that God just poured out upon Elder Pugh, and it just began to trickle down to other people. So if that's what you're seeing, I'm excited because it says to me that God is doing something, and he's doing something with all of us. It's not just a one-off for somebody. You know, it's not like publishing a book where you get a one-off. When God releases his anointing, it flows to whomever is willing to receive it. It just flows. It just flows. And God is doing a new thing, even through our pain of losing our Black brothers and sisters. God is definitely doing a new thing. So with that, let's go ahead and start this intro so we can get started with our news in motion. So let's get started with the news today. Again, I cannot stress how much we are dealing with and trying to raise our voices from the rooftop that Black lives matter. And they do. They matter. Y'all, the autopsy revealed that Dante Wright died from a single gunshot to the chest. We now know the officer, her name is Kim Potter, and she's a 26-year veteran on that police force. The killing caused an immediate outcry across the state and protest and looting and recognition by President Biden, who called for an immediate investigation. This was his direct quote. We do know that the anger, pain, and trauma amidst the Black community is real. And I'm so glad that he at least highlighted that it's real. Truthful, to tell the truth, I'm exhausted. I'm sure many of you are exhausted as well. He goes on to say, in the meantime, and y'all, this is true as well. In the meantime, he said, I want to make it clear again, there is no justification, none for looting or violence. And I believe we need to share that and voice that as well. There's no justification, none for looting or violence. Peaceful protests, he said, understandable. So y'all, let's continue to have peaceful protests. Even if you begin to protest in your own city or state, make sure that it's peaceful. Make sure it's a peaceful protest. Protesters gathered again last night. They gathered again last night in the suburb. And they're asking to be heard. I know on MSNBC, several times they had to cut from the person because the people were so frustrated and angry, and they were screaming and shouting. And of course they were cussing. I mean, they were dropping the F-bomb every other word. They were dropping the B word every other word. And they had to break away. And what I can appreciate about Rachel Maddow and Lawrence Donald, however his name is, excuse me if I transferred his name around. But what I appreciate about them is she says, I understand they're angry. And she apologized for the language because it was live and had already gone out. She says, I understand it. She says, so I can't even tell them to stop doing it. I understand it. We just cannot air that on this broadcast. And so she broke away, and she apologized for having to break away because she says, listen, we need to understand the anger that is taking place. The anger that is taking place. And y'all, it is, and it's literally 10 miles from where the trial is being held for the murderer who killed George Floyd. So there's a lot of tension There's a lot of tension that's rising. There's a lot of tension that is building. There's a lot. There's a lot. So y'all know now we have a new segment called The Question for Today. And so here's today's question. And I want you to take a moment, and team, tell me again, once I read the question, to be quiet so y'all can respond. And we wanted to put it up on the screen at this point. But the question is, how can we work through our collective pain when we experience crisis after crisis? So take a moment and please share your thoughts. Please share your thoughts. Please share your thoughts. How can we work through our collective pain when we experience crisis after crisis? How? That's a lot to deal with. Yes, Lori, it's a lot to deal with. Again, I'll read that question for you. How can we work through our collective pain when we experience crisis after crisis? At times, it's hard to work. Show the pain, even when it's ugly. Start with prayer and communication. The importance of emotional intelligence and continued conversation. I like what you all are putting in. I'm angry, yes, but all I can do is leave it in God's hands. Thank you for that, Peggy. Thank you. And I'm glad y'all are participating and sharing your thoughts as well. Hard question. Know who you can go to and be able to talk it out. Community forums with your sphere of influence and talk about the crisis. Yeah. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. And the question for today was to get us to just start talking and thinking through, because we also have to share our thoughts with our neighbor. Because it is hard, y'all. It is hard. You know, I sat there and, you know, we look at the news, the media releases, we look at the news reports, and then we also look at the news. And just yesterday, I was sitting there thinking, I'm not sure how much more the American people who's carrying this on our backs, I'm not sure how much more we can take of this. I like what John Gore is saying. Please pray and separate each as separate and take appropriate action on each and try not to make them all one issue. Great advice, great wisdom, great wisdom. Thank you. Yeah, Dying Ladybug, my heart is so heavy as well. And I think in this community, we can continue to share and talk about it, and be an ally for each other and have those tough conversations with people who may be struggling, The Virginia cop who pulled over the Black Army Lieutenant Nazario, at gunpoint is now fired. He has now been fired. Only one of them was fired, and I think that was the one who was more aggressive. Only one was fired. Emancipation. So I want to talk about this a little bit. When I talk about emancipation, I'm talking about Will Smith's new movie that he's working on. And I want to talk about boycotting and protesting. Because there's some mixed thoughts and feelings and reviews on this subject matter. Bloomberg is reporting actor Will Smith will no longer shoot the movie Emancipation in Georgia, citing a Republican-sponsored law critics says is aimed at disenfranchising Black Americans. The Apple production, in which Smith stars as a real-life fugitive from slavery, who became famous for a photograph of his whip-scarred back, was set to start filming in Georgia on June the 21st. The actor called the voting law regressive and says is designed to restrict voter access. So there are so many people who are calling on boycotts. There are a team of Black attorneys and CEOs of businesses who are calling on boycotts. But then you have the small businesses, the small Black businesses who are angry that we have someone like Will Smith pulling a possible business out of Atlanta or out of Georgia. And so there's people who are angry on both sides. Now, I know it's difficult. I'm a Black business owner. I'm a Black female business owner, and I feel the pain too. But I think that's why it is so important for us to continue to support each other ongoing. One Tuesday out of the month isn't going to work. One day out of the year is not going to work. It has to be a continuation. And I'm not just talking about products, I'm also talking about services. So if you're looking for a coach, contact a coach. Now, I'm careful to say contact a Black coach. I'm very careful. You have to find that person who really meets the needs that you have. I totally believe that. I totally agree with that. But if we would stop being so fearful and stop being so intimidated by the success of one another, yes, I said it. If we would stop doing those things, we would not, as Black people, have a problem when it comes to supporting one another. Yes, I said it. And then just and I'm not even going to apologize for it. This is in combination with what else, with everything else that's happening. We're killing each other. We were constantly tired and exhausted by protesting because of things like what happened to Dante Wright, what happened to Lieutenant Nazario, what happened to George Floyd. We are tired. What happened to Sandra Bland? We are tired. We are tired that we're still saying the name of Breonna Taylor with nothing to look as if we've gotten any further. Yes, I am tired of it. And yes, y'all, this is news. I am tired of it. So what we can do is start supporting each other as Black and brown people, and stop making us have to jump through hoops to get your business. This is ridiculous. Either you want to pay us or you don't. That's what it is. That's what it is. We don't have the wherewithal to go and get the capital that other businesses are ran by. We don't have that. We don't have the budgets that we can just do whatever we want to do. We don't have that. We don't have that, y'all. There are those of you who are organizers. Organize. Let people know. And I'm talking about home organizing, office organizing. Y'all hire these people. There are so many platforms and lists out there that we can choose from. So when we talk about boycotting, don't get mad because Will Smith is pulling the production. And here's the thing, and this is going to get me in all kinds of trouble, but it is what it is. Here's the thing. Who said they were coming to your place of business anyway? We don't know that. We don't know that. So we cannot just rely on someone like a production company coming into a city or a state to film. We need to rely on each other. Hair products, there's a lot of Black businesses out here. A lot of Black businesses. Branding, a lot of Black businesses. Mentoring, a lot of Black businesses. Band, singers, event planners, a lot of Black businesses. Talking about diversity and inclusion, a lot of Black businesses. Team building, facilitation, teachers, business partners, bankers, finance people, insurance people. You have it. There's a lot of Black people out here, y'all, that we can connect with. Jewelry people, jewelry makers, filmmakers, photographers, spas, salons. I can go on and on and on and on and on. Restaurants. There's a lot of Black and brown businesses out here that we can be supporting. So when we're calling on a protest, y'all, as Black and brown people, we have to stop being afraid to protest. We have to stop being afraid to protest. We know this isn't our great grandmas or great grandpas protesting, and it may look different, but y'all, come on. Come on. We all have in our mindset that Amazon is just so big and we can't compete against Amazon. Well, that's a lie from the pit of hell. We can compete against Amazon if we choose not to become jealous or envious of the person who starts this in their garage. Hello, somebody. We can get there. We can get there, but we have to determine and decide for ourselves. Enough. If we stand up long enough, and yes, it will be painful, but if we took a stand, and stood long enough, things will begin to change. But see, what happens is, and they know that because they're watching us, y'all, they know that we crumble under pressure if they start hitting us. But see, that's not where you crumble. You take a stand, like keep hitting, because the more you're hitting, the more of our people going to come to our side. So go ahead and do what you have to do. Y'all, it's a mindset change. I didn't mean to go all here, but I did need to say, protesting and boycotting. Y'all, that's the way. That's the way. That's the way. You know, that's the only way that's going to get them to start listening. Even Mitch McConnell's starting to pause a little bit, and he got all kinds of power. He has all kinds of power. He's starting to pause. He's starting to pause. Okay, with that, will they, won't they? Will they, won't they? Y'all, Reparations Bill. The CBS News is reporting that the House Judiciary Committee is set to vote on a bill that could lead to slavery reparations. U.S. Rep. Sheila Jackson Lee, Democrat from Texas, is the lead sponsor of HR, and that stands for House Resolution Bill. I told you about HB, House Bill, SB, Senate Bill, but HR is House Resolution Bill. Her quote to the CBS News is as follows. This is what we call the next step. America has never acknowledged the original sin, and that if you look at African Americans today, the disparities that were entrenched in slavery still exist. Still exist. And from what I just shared with you, they do. They still exist. And I just want to say no lies detected there. There are no lies detected there. They still exist. They still exist. They still exist, y'all. So y'all, where do we go from here? What do we do? What's happening? Y'all, there was another mass shooting in Tennessee. Another mass shooting in East Knoxville on Monday. It's exhausting. It is exhausting. Y'all, here's some good news. I wanted to share this. Here's some good news. There's a woman by the name of Maddie Park. Hopefully you've heard of her. She is protecting U.S. Asians in New York City. Yes, she is. And this is Global Citizens that's reporting this. She's a woman who lives in Brooklyn. She raised over $100,000 in 48 hours. Y'all, she raised over $100,000 in 48 hours in just 2 days. She started with a base of $2,000, where she offered to pay for the cab ride of Asian women or elderly Asian people who felt uncomfortable taking the train in 4 of the New York City boroughs. All they have to do is to send a receipt for their ride, send a selfie to show that they were Asian descent, or they are of Asian descent, and request the fare through her Venmo account. Hello, somebody. This is called a village watching over the village. She raised over $100,000 in 48 hours in 2 days. And all you have to do is send the receipt, take a selfie that you're Asian descent, and she will send you money. Hello, somebody. Y'all, that's called raising a village. I don't know if you understand, but that's called raising a village. Y'all, and then we have the wealth surge at the expense of poor people. And this is Bloomberg reporting again. Global inequality exacerbated by COVID-19 pandemic. There has been a $5 trillion with the T dollar surge in wealth of the world's richest in the past year, even as those at the bottom are struggling and becoming increasingly vulnerable. They're saying that they see a debt continue to swell and hurting poor people most. That's what's happening, y'all. That's what's happening. So our coronavirus numbers for today. Confirmed cases are 31,977,893. Again, confirmed cases are 31,977,893. And remember, I get my numbers from the World Health Organization. Deaths, 576,258. Again, deaths, 576,258. That right there saddens me. Recovered 24,551,524. Again, recovered 24,551,524. So let's do what we do and celebrate that recovery. Celebrate that recovery. The numbers are continuing to grow. They are continuing to grow. Yeah, Mary, I agree with you. That's awesome what the woman did. Her name is Maddie Park. She lives in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, these numbers are continuing to grow. We want to thank Mary for always posting the numbers. Thank you so much, in case anyone did not get them. Vaccines, I just want to stress again, if you have done your research, and you've decided to get your vaccine, great. Still wear your mask, still social distance, and still wash your hands. We are still in Central Ohio taking appointments. I think right now we're looking at the 21st. And that's Pfizer, that's OSU East. The only thing that we ask you to do, if you schedule an appointment through myself or through Kenya Noel, if you're scheduling an appointment, Kenya Noel and I were working this thing together. We're asking that you do not cancel the appointment, because appointments are in demand again since J&J, Johnson & Johnson, since they were only able to distribute 700,000 out of the 4 million because of an incident that happened in their warehouse. So again, if you schedule an appointment, and we get it, we know you're in a store and they're like, hey, we have extra appointments, and you're thinking, hey, I'm here, let me go take it. We get it. But when we schedule an appointment and you don't show up, that's blocking a person who would have been able to make that appointment. You're welcome, Demia. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. And let's see, Kenya says, please do not cancel and please be on time. Thanks. Thank you, Kenya, for saying that. Y'all, literally, this is what happens. For those of you in Central Ohio, so that you know, this is what happens. The hospital calls me. They're like, hey, these are your people. Where are they? This is News in Motion people. Where are they? We do not want that now, do we? We do not want that. And I'm like, hold on, let me see if I can find them. So I'm turning into a customer service rep trying to find people, but please, please be on time. We know you may want to cancel, but please be on time. John Gore says, seems like Johnson & Johnson are having some concerns. There are some concerns, and they're coming out slowly. There are some concerns. Johnson & Johnson is on pause for blood clots. That's coming out as well. And AstraZeneca, they're also still dealing with some issues there as well. So far, Pfizer seems to be the one, seems to be in demand. And Moderna is also another one that seems to be in demand. So thank y'all for putting that up there. All right, y'all, another news, cut the sugar. Dang on it, did I say that? Yes, I did. Cut the sugar. I know Kenya's excited about this one. Y'all, Ozzy's reporting, and I want to read this. New research from the University of Georgia and Southern California research groups reveals sugar consumption in adolescents can impair memory. While they haven't tested the theory on humans, the scientists found that young rats that consume sugar-sweetened beverages daily, say that real fast, had impaired performance or memory tasks as adults. So while sugars are increasingly being used to help treat things like cancer, you may want to think twice before overindulging. Cut the sugar, y'all. Cut the sugar. Cut the sugar, people. I did that once. And I'm going to share this real quick, and I'm going to go to for the win. I did that once. I cut the sugar for like 5 months. Y'all, and I have horrible sinuses. And so when it gets like it is outside right now, I can't really go outside because I'll end up with a massive sinus headache. It could be a beautiful day, and I'll still end up with a headache because of the pollen. I cut the sugar. I did not have one headache, and I enjoyed the outside continuously. And when I went to my physician, we traced that back to you cut sugar. The reason I went back to sugar, and whether it's an excuse or not, call it what you want to, I was in Germany, and there were things that I just couldn't eat in Germany. There were things, but I could surely eat their pastries. And I was jamming on them pastries. And trust me, when you have a sugar addiction, we were talking about addictions yesterday. You have a sugar addiction and you put that sugar back in your body, hear me. It is more difficult to try to cut it the second time around. But it is worth it. It is worth it if you can just get through it. It is worth it. All right, y'all, for the win. I wish my son was on here so that he could let his grandpa know. Boom, for the win. Lewis Pryor Jr., my dad. He is for the win. And I'm going to tell you why he's for the win. Not just because he's my dad, But I was taking y'all know now, I take my dad, or alternate with my older sister taking my dad to the grocery store. Well, because they grew up on Kroger, that's all they want to go to is Kroger. Oh my gosh. I was telling John about this as I was going to pick him up last Thursday, and John was cracking up. My dad, if someone could tag my son, maybe he can get my dad on here. My sister's on here. So call your parents and tell them to get on Alex's thing. But anyway, my dad, we were driving downtown and he was calling out every building in Columbus, Ohio. He was telling me where he got his first shoes when he started walking. He was telling me where he got the first baseball that his grandpa took him to. He was telling me all about the places he went. He was naming people. I was like, well, your memory's real good. But he was naming people. My dad can go into the grocery store and light up the entire grocery store. We've been going to the grocery store in German Village. I try to take him to different ones to get him out and about and to see different things since we took his keys. He's no longer driving. So I was just taking him and he just talks to people. And everywhere he goes, he wears his Browns baseball hat and his Browns sweatshirt. Cleveland Browns. And so that starts a conversation with other men. And normally in the German Village Kroger, there are older men, veterans, and things like that. And they can talk about the Browns. Literally, I take a seat in the store. Like, this is going to be a minute. I'm going to just take a seat in the store. But my dad is always encouraging. He is always uplifting. He is always patient to the most part, but not when it comes to his children. He's not patient with us, but he's patient with everyone else. He's always looking for directions. So women, we can't say men don't look for directions, but he's always looking for directions and he's always being helpful. My dad is a history buff. He went to East High School. Yes, he did, in Columbus, Ohio, the baddest high school in the land. So he did go to East High School. He gathers with his male friends. They can't do it right now, but they used to go to a place called Golden Corral on Saturday mornings and just sit and talk. He used to go to a barbershop that's now been demolished. It was called Dillard and Locke. I used to go to the barbershop with him when I was a little girl, just sit there and eat all the potato chips in the barbershop and would listen to the men have conversation. I would learn so much from them. My dad still encourages us. My dad will say, hey, let me give you some gas money. I don't need your gas money. Let's just keep going. My dad will sit there and encourage. He checks on people. He will just call and say, hey, I just want you to know that I appreciate everything you're doing. That's my dad. My dad is an African-American male. My dad was an employee of Rockwell International. My dad had it going on, y'all. My dad was in a management director position at Rockwell International. My dad, he went from painting walls to washing walls to taking out trash for people. When he was laid off, he wasn't fluffing around sitting at home. He was looking to see what he could do for somebody else. You need me to paint your walls? You need me to wash your walls? What do you need me to do? My dad was doing it. My dad was like, it's okay, y'all. We're going to get through this hump. Whatever we need, we're going to make sure we get it. But he would do it honestly. He is and was back in his day a hard worker. Even after my dad had retired from Rockwell International, my dad couldn't sit at home. So he went and got a job at Ross Laboratories doing what? Janitorial. I said, Dad, why are you doing it? You don't have to do that. Because look, walking around, I'm getting some exercise. I'm meeting some people. I'm getting out the house for a couple hours a day. Nothing's beneath me. Those were his words. There's nothing beneath me. I can do this. That's my dad, y'all. That's my dad. My dad then retired from Ross Laboratories. And guess what? He still wants to go there and they will still invite him to have lunch. They still give him gifts. They still they treat him. When I tell y'all, all I got to do, if I need anything, I can call my parents. You got a gift card for this? Trust me, somebody from Ross Labs has given him a gift card and I can just use that gift card. So shout out for the win today is my dad. My inspirational message, and I'm out of here, y'all. I want to talk about soul care just for a moment. Soul care. Soul care. Are you taking care of your soul? Are you taking care of your soul? After attending Ashland Theological Seminary in their spiritual formation department, I learned a lot about soul care in all of my courses. Soul care is important. It deals with our inner healing. What's on the inside of you? If you are in pain, and what we're dealing with today with ongoing shootings, one of the reporters said it best on MSNBC yesterday. I can't call his name, but he says, I feel like we are in a groundhog movie. We just can't get out of this continuation of killings of Black and brown people. He said, we're stuck. It's like we're stuck and we can't get out. He said, but I'm determined to get us out of here. And he said, collectively, we can. But even with all of that, y'all, take care of your heart. Pause, breathe, step back for a moment if you have to. Prepare yourself to go back in to fight, not a violent fight, but to raise your voices. And then when you get tired, back off. Turn off the news. I went from the trial to the protest, and it became too much. I went from the trial to the protest to the officers in Virginia, y'all. It just became too much. It became too much. So soul care is important. And real quick, I'm going to give you this and I'm out of here. I promise you I'm out of here. If you just give me 2 more minutes, I'm out of here. Soul care. Listen, y'all, listen. Get in a quiet space and ask God to come in and to sanctify your imagination. And this is what we did through Dr. Terry Wardle at Healing Care Ministries at Ashland Theological Seminary. He would coach us to just be still, just turn off everything and just say, God, just sanctify my imagination. God, help me. He said, then you just sit there and you allow that quietness to just consume you. He says, picture yourself in your favorite place. And for me, it was always by the water because I love the water. He said, and then imagine God, imagine Jesus sitting next to you. And I understand that all of you may not be believers, but I have to go here today and I don't make any apologies for it. He said, imagine God, imagine Jesus sitting right there in your space with you, wherever that is. Some people said they feel like that their space was out camping. Some people said they were climbing mountains. Some people would say in class that they were painting. Some people in class would say they were taking a bubble bath. Whatever that is for you, wherever you are, invite Jesus, invite the Lord into that space. And then just be still for about 5 minutes. Then after that, feel free to lament. Feel free to tell God what you're dealing with, what's going on, the pain, the agony, the anger, the bitterness, whatever that is. And then after you have released all of that to him, be still again, and then hear the voice of God speaking back to you, letting you know that everything is going to be okay. Because he is with you. Because he is with you. Because he is with you. All right, everyone, that's all I have today. You know what I say. Stay well and remember, make some moves.